then. Okay, so good evening. We haven't made a video in a bloody long time, so we're going to record the novel version of Leftpoordead because we can't bother doing it. So I've got Will here.
Yeah.
I've got Mitz here.
Bloody hard.
And we're all reasonably tipsy. So we're going to read this thing. Okay, so who wants to be the narrator?
Actually, good question. Yeah, we haven't thought that far.
There's a lot of writing there.
Should we do it chapter by chapter? Should we do it like paragraph by paragraph?
Yeah.
So shall I do a paragraph, then you do a paragraph, then we'll do a paragraph?
No, you read it.
Okay. Alright.
You wrote it.
Alright, okay. Chapter 1. Nothing ever happens here. Never was there...
Well, you're not going to explain what's happening.
Okay, so we're going to be reading the... You explain it. You do it.
Well, Leftpoordead is a book now because Sean wrote it, and he did.
We can't really be bothered to do any more filming because we hate you all.
Well, that's not the case.
We're just going to read a bit.
We're busy.
From what we were going to film because we don't really like you all.
Really? Do you want to read like to the point where that happens, or do you want to read from the start of the book?
What, where we don't stop liking them?
No. Do you want to read from the when episode 6 ended?
Where's that?
It's halfway through the book.
Oh Christ!
All right. Do you want to read that then? Okay. I suppose we can go that way.
We've heard the rest.
All right.
So
we'll
start again.
through.
I'm guessing Sean.
No. Fuck it. Let's go.
I knew he wouldn't. Sean
Let's
wouldn't.
keep going.
Sean doesn't believe in multiple.
Right,
multiple takes.
No, it ain't gonna happen. We're doing this once. We're doing it once.
Oh Jesus! He scrolled down about 500 pages, and we're still only a third of the way to where the bit we're going to.
All right. So like basically, I took the original Leftpoordead and I changed it slightly. So. Back when it was like the original version. Now John McCullen's in it because like he had to be in it at some point. It has most of the stuff from the original Leftpoordead, but it's slightly more complicated. Essentially, it ends where so I've got to get past this bit. Yeah, so we get to the point where we're flying in the plane. So at the end of episode 7, we're in the plane tippy. So we start at this point. Should we start here?
Time damage.
Okay, yeah. It's all right. So we get okay, right. Okay.
36. Bloody hell.
All right. Chapter 36 is where Leftpoordead, like season 1, finishes off, and we start with chapter 36. So, Mitz, do you want to read the first part of chapter 36 because it makes sense with your characters in the past? Oh. Chapter 36. Here we go.
Time travel was a mystery of the universe that humankind had not yet unlocked at the time of the first zombie apocalypse on Earth. Some methods of travelling through time did exist, but they were all in the hands of the governments and madmen who scarcely ever used them for some reason. They were always far too clunky or dangerous. The rest of the universe, other than Earth, however, were perfectly accustomed to time travel and the risks therein. The galaxy was controlled by time captains, like Fabulous, who were experts in the art of
That's another series.
navigating the time stream. But of course, that's a completely different and more surreal story. The Blue Planet was unlucky enough not only be in a state of global panic, but also the location of an enormous temporal storm. Invisible wispy fingers slashed apart the space-time continuum around the world, creating roaring time cracks that would remain open for only minutes at a time. As if like Clockworld, visit now. As if, like
Clockworld, we sell the best clocks, 10 out of time, best thing ever. Clockworld, 24/7, 90 days a year, 24 hours a day, 74 years a week.
Catch us in Stowe and Whitstable. As if like clockwork, Reginald, Tipley and Butler and George were flying directly into the mouth of one. Not two, but one. But they didn't know it yet.
Oh.
So this is Reginald. Morty, Tippy, chortled a triumphant Reginald.
Lovely!
Screeched Tippy over the humming of the jet's engines. This is you, I believe. No, it's me.
No, it's you.
I believe that after the last few days, we deserve a good rest. I'm thinking a couple of days in Aquitaine Villa. mused Reginald whilst sipping a china teacup. This is George. This is you.
Who was playing
You're
George?
playing George. You're playing George.
I was-
No, you're playing George.
No, I was
you're
playing
All right,
George.
you do it well. Okay, go on.
He barely had any lines.
Fucking
other than,
do it.
"Oh."
Hurry up. I'm
I-
being attacked by my kitten.
Okay, let's have a go. I love that villa, Reginald.
Replied George.
We really must see if the... No, I'm going to start again.
Okay, fine.
I love that villa, Reginald.
Replied George.
But we really must see if the infection has spread outside of Britain.
Reginald lowered his teacup daintily onto a small floral patterned plate below. I suppose France is very susceptible to the whole revolution business. Because at this point, remember, Reginald doesn't think that they're zombies. Reginald, okay, Tippy shuddered.
That's what I've just done.
Go on.
No, stop scrolling.
Tippy shuddered.
I don't want to have my head chopped off, Reginald!
Huh?
Said a confused George.
What do you mean, Reg?
It's obvious, isn't it? The poor Pio.
Suddenly, the jet was rocked with a powerful wave of turbulence. The cabin yawned violently. Reginald slipped forwards, accidentally pouring hot tea across George's crotch.
Can someone do a noise like George being having tea poured into his crotch? That's right. Okay. Right. George yelped and fell to the floor, only to be knocked out by a piece of hand luggage falling from an overhead storage. Tippy flailed madly in abrupt panic, and standing up and running into the toilet and locking it behind him. Reginald stood up and stumbled down the shaking corridor towards the cockpit. Butler, what in God's name is going on?
Butler pulled hard on the yoke of the plane in a vain attempt to steer the aeroplane's violent path. I'm not sure, sir, but I believe it may have something to do with that, said Butler monotonously.
Where are we?
Reginald's mouth dropped to the floor as he stared out of the window into the sky.
His jaw was broken.
The plane was directly headed for an enormous dark fissure.
Fissure.
Monsieur.
In the sky that crackled deafeningly with the otherworldly energy.
Turn the plane, Butler.
Butler's eyelids convulsed, which is funny for some
Oh shit,
reason.
it says convulsed.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Apparently eyelids can
My,
convulse.
my English got all fancy and shit.
He was having a
Anyway,
fit.
this was a moment of slight annoyance. Could his master not see he was trying to bloody well do that?
The plane's engines roared angrily as the pull of the time crack became too much for them. The jet wildly jerked forwards and backwards as if it was being dragged forward by the endless void of darkness. Reginald closed his eyes tightly and awaited his imminent death.
And they convulsed.
A year had passed since Reginald, Tippy and George and their faithful butler had... Because Butler's name is Butler.
Yes, there's a sub...
Butler's name is Butler.
That was deliberate.
Had been cast into the temporal void. Great Britain, or as it had been now called, New Smedonia, had been blockaded by a United Nations Navy in order to ensure that the zombie infection would never make its way off of the island. The
It's
self-proclaimed
spelled the
ruler...
United Nations without capital letters, by the way.
Well, fuck you. The self-proclaimed ruler of New Smedonia, Dr. Robert Smedley, had secured a large portion of the country and repopulated it with hordes
It's
of
spelled horse without a W. Which is how it's supposed to be spelled.
Yes. What? What?
I don't know, having fun.
With hordes of fast-growing
It's
clans.
nice to have fun.
His cult of personality had reached an all-time high, even going as far as having his face carved into the side of the White Cliffs of Dover.
Shit.
I know, right? Smedley looked out of the huge reinforced windows of his new fortress of death. That's what involves.
Oh, I don't want to go there. That's horrible.
Are you suffering a cold, Sean?
Below him, a sprawling mass of newly built factories and death camps poured out black smoke into the sky. He grinned inanely and hummed at the nasal little ditty of a tune. From behind the greasy little scientist, a radio crackled into action and his enormous basalt desk. Smedley frowned and waddled over to the radio. Hello? What is it? Who is it? It's clone number 761, sir. Shall I do the radio guy with it? Shall I like close my nose so it sounds like it's on the radio?
Yeah.
It's clone 761, sir. Smedley quickly flicked through his photographic memory. Ah, yes. How the hell are you doing, 761? How's the wife? She's incredibly sexy, thank you, sir. That mind control chip you invented is doing wonders for her. Smedley nodded into the radio with a devilish look on his face. Smashing. Anyway, what do you want? We've detected a temporal anomaly above the off-limits areas amongst the areas of London, replied the clone. We sent you an image and took one of the scouting robots. We don't know what it is and it's not ours. Smedley wistfully flicked through a screen on his desk and opened up a file in his email inbox. Up popped a blurry image.
How the hell's he got to his desk?
Shut the fuck up. He
was at the White Cliffs today.
No, he isn't.
Who's
No, he
emailing
isn't.
him?
He's sitting in his palace. The White Cliffs Dover is the thing he carved his face onto.
Yeah, I thought he was looking out.
No. No.
Well, he saw cameras in his eyes.
Anyway, Smedley whisked through his desk and opened up a small file in his email inbox. Up popped a blurry image of what appeared to be a small jet in the air above London's no-fly zone. The scientist rubbed his tiny beard and stared hard. Do you want to do a rubby sound into the
Can you do a
microphone?
staring sound effect?
That's nice. The scientist rubbed his tiny beard and stared into the at the image on the screen. He had seen that plane before somewhere. What is it, sir? Asked the clone on the radio. Smedley's face once again contorted into a cruel smile as clarity hit him like a cruise missile. Shoot it down. Reginald opened his eyes and looked out of the window of the plane. A hole in space-time was completely gone. Butler strained at the controls, bringing the private jet back into its steady horizontal position. It had been mere moments ago that the plane had entered the darkness, and now everything appeared to be fine.
Everything appears to be fine, sir.
Stated Butler plainly. Reginald nodded and turned around, heading back towards the cabin. He could see Tippy tending to a slightly worse for-wear George.
You desperately needed another comma in there.
Shut up, bitch.
What just happened, Reginald?
A question, Tippy.
A question.
A question.
A question to go with a raids.
Reginald twisted his mustache and contemplation and looked out of... Yes, that's what the sound made. And looked out of one of the small round windows to see the ground below them. I'm not sure, Tippy. Some sort of weather accident.
Freak
weather accident. From below, plane Reginald could see a small entity.
Reginald.
From below the plane Reginald.
Good old plane Reginald.
Reginald, from below the plane.
See this guy with a suit just flying through the air with Reginald and with Tippy and George on his back.
From below the plane, Reginald could see a small black entity heading straight towards them. A trail of light, grey smoke billowing out from behind its long, slender shape.
Ooh. That's odd,
he mused. What's odd?
George stuttered. There's something bizarre outside the window coming towards us. George
started in panic.
Started to panic.
What do you mean, Reg? What is it?
Reginald turned to his friend and laughed. Looks like a bloody missile, but that's preposterous. The missile, as Reginald had correctly identified, careered straight into the wing of the private jet. Metal screeched against metal and an almighty explosion ripped through the jet's engines as if they were paper.
Don't feel like we're going to survive this.
No, I think we will, because the story wouldn't really work if we did.
Prepare for an emergency landing, sirs.
Droned Butler as the cockpit over the sounds of the high-pitched alarms and fire. In his lavish office, Dr. Smedley cackled ridiculously to himself and watched the plane crash violently into a collection of unlucky trees.
Take that, plane, Reginald!
A collection of clunky trees.
Send in a squad of scouts to the crash area of the...
Oh, God.
Send in a squad of scouts to the crash area, please. Capture anything left alive. Suddenly Smedley sounds like the Queen.
Right, I think we should stop there.
Let's do one more chapter.
We've been recording for 15 minutes. We've only done 2
But
pages.
this is the bit where we find out about Butler's secret thing.
Alright, fair enough.
We've got to know about this bit because he's a badass, really.
I'm pretty easily bribed, clearly.
Reginald, Tippy and George...
You didn't tell what the name of the chapter was.
Okay, fuck it, Jesus Christ.
Look,
Chapter 30-7 to the fucking bitter fucking end.
You've written 100
Reginald
chapters.
fucking Tippy, fucking George and fucking Butler sat neatly fucking in front of the burning fucking wreckage.
No, they didn't.
Once fucking gorgeously fucking sleep fucking
Should we do the
private jet.
pre-water shed version?
Okay, you do it. You do the
How the hell are we going to edit
You
this?
go, I'll beep.
Reginald,
Beep!
Tippy,
Beep!
George,
Beep!
and
Beep!
Butler sat meekly in front of the
Beep!
burning wreckage and there
Beep!
once
Beep!
gorgeously
Beep!
sleep
Beep!
private jet.
Fuck.
Flames crackled with energetic delight whilst pieces of metal cracked and fell free from their respective holdings. Well, Butler, said Reginald, his face was covered in black and dusty material.
And was actually dead.
Butler looked at his master and prepared himself for an inane comment or order that was soon to follow. Clearly your skills are getting a tad rusty. I'm sure it'll take you no time in order to repair the plane, yes?
What with plain Reginald and Rusty Butler?
Butler looked over to the wrecked mess beside him and sighed to himself.
Yes, of course.
Tippy grinned at his manservant and proceeded to shriek to the high heavens.
Lovely!
Nostalgia overload.
Reginald stood up and walked to a piece of smouldering wreckage. He looked down and then kicked it gently with his tarnished shoes. I assume this is the engine. It looks like we're going to need that fuel to get us back in the air. How do they not know? The plane's fucking destroyed. Jesus Christ, they're morons.
Where did Reginald ever talk like this?
Reginald and Tippy are fucking idiots.
You wrote them.
That's true. Anyway. Right, okay, so George shook his head in dismay.
You're joking, right, Reginald?
The gentleman never jokes, George. You will accompany Butler and find some fuel for the plane.
You will accompany Butler and find some fuel for the plane? There's a question mark there.
Or,
Where most...
a gentleman never jokes. George, you will accompany Butler.
And find some fuel for the plane?
We're most likely going to need quite a lot of it. George attempted to put up a protest, but was quickly silenced by Butler's aged hand.
I can't see the script because Mr. just put his hand in his face for some reason. We shall leave immediately, sirs.
Stated the monotonous man.
Ran out of words to describe that character who isn't in it very much.
Reginald nodded.
Monotonous Butler.
Reginald
Reginald spoke to Toppy. While Sean's indisposed, Reginald nodded in appreciation at his servant, who went back looking to the pieces of plane scattered before. Half an hour passed, and George had silently followed Butler through the fields and forest. The manservant had never been one for talking. In fact, this was the first time he'd ever seen Butler alone.
Who, the manservant?
No, George, said the narrator.
Oh my god, I'm so bad at writing. Anyway, go on, continue.
I suppose you are wondering why I'm looking for fuel despite the obvious utility of this mission, said Butler, breaking the silence. Yes, I am, stuttered George. I have served Master Richard. Jesus, fuck. At this point in the recording, someone scrolled down accidentally so far that I can't see this point of the story we're supposed to be. Okay.
You're there.
I found me.
You're there.
Right. Butler
You're there.
Butler just admitted that this story makes no sense. To which George said, yes, I am. And now we resume. I have served Master Reginald for countless years now, and I've learned that no matter how impractical or dim-witted his requests are, they always lead to something good. They do? What do you mean? Said
Summaries
Said George, I assume.
makes me feel fine.
That too. For example, Master Reginald once asked me to deliver Master Tippy an amusing picture of a cat he had found at 2 o'clock in the morning. Can someone else voice George? Because I don't know how he talks.
That's just silly.
I was tempted
That's
to.
what George sounds like from now on. Mark is going to kill you when he hears this.
I was tempted to pretend that I hadn't sent it, but it would have broken the butler code that I had sworn to uphold. So I drove to Tippingdale in the twilight hours. It just so happened that this was the night of the fire at Tippy's mansion.
Wow.
That is how he talks in real life. Butler continued. Another example. Master Reginald requested a swimming pool to be built near my cottage. I knew for a fact that it would be loud, annoying, and lose me a huge amount of much-needed sleep. But I let construction go ahead anyway.
What happened?
The night before the pool was... Someone had finished scrolling. To be filled. The nearby river burst its banks. Oh, that feels so uncomfortable today.
Oh, that's true. It's very, unfortunately, topical.
Yes. Wishing very much well to residents of Northern England, where the Conservatives are not currently necessarily always the most representative of members of Parliament in that area, but not
Unfortunately,
exclusively.
they've cut spending in the areas of flood defence, and it's actually caused them more problems than it has.
I want to
Given
offend them, but I
solutions.
can't exclusively.
Shut up and read.
Continue.
A fair point, considering your boss is a Blackpool resident. Actually.
Continue. Go on. Continue.
The night before the pool was to be filled, the nearby river burst its banks. The pool took the brunt of the flooding, and saved my cottage from any real damage.
That's okay.
Master Reginald has an innate luck. Stated butler. His spot has kept us alive through all of this.
George stopped for a second.
You're in zombies?
Precisely, sir.
Wow.
I don't pretend to be unacknowledged about what is going on around us right now. I just find it best not to trouble the masters when such an uncomfortable truth.
So what do we do? Asked George. Butler turns to George, with his mouth twisted into a small, kind smile.
We follow our master's orders.
No, hold on.
At this point, Mitz is grabbing Will's face and turning it into a painful-looking smile. Well, can you even say anything like that?
No! Yeah, it was... Mitch went so far. Jesus. Anyway, yes. I was temporarily... Jesus.
Oh my god, I'm in so much pain.
I was simply rendered unspeakable. Where are we? I've lost where I am.
No, I'm in so much pain.
We follow our master's orders to the bitter end. And with Mitch, trying to control my expression, I genuinely couldn't say that line. The two men continued on their walk until they came across a small industrial park. Metallic cooling towers, covered with complex scaffolding and large warehouses, were strewn across an immense concrete block. The block was surrounded with a tall, chain-like fence, which was topped with a vicious-looking coil of barbed wire.
See, we'd never have gotten this with the budget we had, which was literally exactly £0 and 0 pence.
What about all the money you spent those costumes on for those other episodes?
Yeah,
that
but
weren't that one?
they were like, but after Leftpoordead happened, weren't they?
You spent £200 on a costume for the random video 2, which is now gone.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Nah. Anyway,
You know?
George is about to say something.
There's bound to be fuel here.
Said George.
Indeed.
Butler
Oh,
Who's
there's
narrating
some
now?
fighting going on.
Okay,
We've got some fight going
let's
on.
whip a mouse. I'm going for the apple bit, you're going for the non-apple bit.
Okay.
That was really a stupid thing to do because they're quite expensive. Oh, it is me, isn't it? After all that. Butler pulled out a set of pliers from inside his tuxedo jacket. Even though, interesting piece of trivia, in the opening credits of the first series of Leftpoordead, Butler is actually wearing a what's the thing called? A tailcoat jacket.
He is. It's very fancy. It's one of your most fancy stuffs.
Yeah, I borrowed that for that sequence, but
Didn't you?
yeah, but I couldn't take it out for too long for safety reasons, so I did not use it in most of the episodes. So, admittedly, Butler does wear a tuxedo jacket. Sorry,
Another piece of trivia.
but the tailcoat was only used in that very sequence.
Another piece of trivia. The mustache that Reginald wears isn't real for most of the series.
Well, we knew that.
In fact, for like 100% of the series, it is a fake mustache.
And one time it's so fake it doesn't even exist in reality.
Yeah, it was genuinely a CGI mustache. I CGI'd it onto my face. It floated in front of my nose.
We.
Inside.
Anyway, we're nearly at the end of the chapter, so let's keep going.
Continue.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, I feel like it's Miz's turn to do some narration because he hasn't had much to say
Go
recently.
on, let's see.
You've reached the end of your narration, haven't you?
Where are we?
No, we're at this paragraph that starts with soon enough.
Go on.
Oh no, we're not. We are Butler. Okay, we're okay. You said there's okay. George, you're the George voice.
You always seem to come prepared, Butler.
No, that's not it. We're talking about there's bound to be fuel here, said George.
Oh, right, sorry. There's bound to be fuel here, said George.
Indeed.
Butler pulled out a set of pliers from inside his tuxedo
Yes.
His Jax's.
Jacket.
He set about cutting a person-sized hole in the fence.
This should only take me a minute, sir.
You always seem to come prepared, Butler.
It's what happens when you come from a background such as mine.
Soon enough, the two men were inside the fence. I don't know how they did that. And walking through the concrete park. Hefty trucks lay abandoned, motionlessly laying, as they do, in their assigned shopping areas, or shipping areas even.
Jesus, it's Christmas.
The sound of hushed gunshots in the far distance was the only thing that broke the silence around the duo. What do you mean by your background, Butler? Inquired George.
Butler looked towards George and then spoke in the very voice of the narrator. My previous job involved a great deal of classified government work.
You were a spy?
You didn't hear it from me. Butler drowned! Suffice to say that my early 20s were akin to that of a James Bond film.
Butler stopped and pointed towards a pile of fuel cans, scattered against the wall. That's you.
No, it's you, because
it's you.
It's got sir in it.
there, sir.
And
No, that's Butler.
why would I say...
Over there, Sarah's Butler.
Oh,
Butler stopped and pointed towards the pile of fuel cans going on the wall.
oh yeah, he got such an arrogance complex there. That
Jesus Christ, Will.
I thought everyone else...
Why do you even bother existing anymore? Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I thought everyone else...
Why are your feet in my face mitts? They're so sweaty. Oh, no.
Over there, sir.
Fantastic. We should get back to the plane before nightfall.
The sounds of quick footsteps from behind the pair caused them both to turn around in tandem. Behind them were a group of dishevelled-looking men, all carrying guns.
Stanky men.
I didn't say stanky men. Were a group of dishevelled-looking men, all carrying guns, which were all trained upon them.
Oh.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
You two look lost, laughed one of the men. He was sporting a bright green mohawk, a metal and black leather monstrosity of an outfit, and several ugly facial piercings.
Boys, grab 'em and bring 'em to the hideout.
I like that voice. That's good.
I'll get you
And
for this.
that's the end of that chapter.
And that's the
So,
end
yeah.
of that chapter.
That's what it was going to be like. We're going to have a big budget and it was going to be amazing and there were going to be explosions and practical effecks and it was going to be essentially like The Force Awakens, but like much better.
And
But you'll never get
everyone
to see
lives.
it because we don't want to do it for you because you're all shit.
No.
No.
The great thing is that the next chapter starts Rain spat, and you don't know who Rain is.
And you don't even know. And you'll never know except when we publish the novel. But for now, we're not going to. And yeah. So, yeah, this is the video we're doing. We won't do another one for a while. Probably for a while.
Check out Dr. Trollbut Smedley's channel for all the various proper parodies that keep coming out.
They're pretty good. They're good.
Yeah.
And check out Mitz. He's fine.
Don't check out Sean, he's annoying.
I am.
Are you fucking deaf?
Oh.
I said, are you fucking deaf?
Oh.
Yeah, apparently we're now quoting Toast of London.
If you are.
Let's call it the end.
Goodbye.
Love you.
Bye.
Oh god, this is...
Bye. You can't use a Mac. You can't use Mac.
I am...
You don't know how to do it.
I'm qualified to use the Mac.
Je m'appelle cheeseburger. Goodbye, friends. See
This
you
is a
later.
waste of
Bye-bye.
time.
Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.